to the Wolfkeeper, a show that's just about everything that you could maybe think about, everything that you can feel that's inside of your heart. What I need for you to do right now is spend the next hour relaxing. Just stop your day before you go into 12 o'clock. And I just want y'all to close your minds, open your hearts, and relax and go on this journey with me. It's a beautiful place that you're about to go, because I want to make you feel, I want to just open you up and think about some things you never really thought about. Right now, the Wolfkeeper. Come on. Good morning, y'all. Come on. It's the Wolfkeeper show. Get ready. Come on, let's go. Yeah. Woo. Yeah. It's the Wolfkeeper show. Your boy, Torriano Sanzoni. Yeah. Chanelli Nell. My boy Tyrone Scott somewhere rocking the Doogie Dogs. Denzel's in his house. Shacky Shack. And for all the people out there that love us, we love you back. Thank you all. Get ready for an amazing show with the Wolfkeeper. Get ready. Here we go.
Fellow Italiano Hermano, I gotta get this right, Tony Paolella.
Close.
Paolella.
States it's Paolella, in Italy when I go there it's Paolella.
Paolella.
Tony P, it's just easier that way.
You know what? And I should get that. I'm Torriano Sanzoni, and I've heard Torino, Tornado, Toronto, Samboni, so it looks like it's easier said than done, but sometimes it's...
Oh yeah, I got people calling me Tony Palumbo, Tony Portillo, I get all sorts of crazy.
They just see
my name.
They see the P and they get nervous. Brother.
Just call me Tony P and we're all good.
Tony P.
just don't call me late for dinner.
You know what though? It's almost like Tony P is almost become just like, people know you as Tony P, because Tony P's not just a person; it's a business. It's an institution. It's a place that I have partied at Tony P Production. Because before I knew you, I knew about your events. I thought it was just a moniker. I didn't know that Tony P was a person. So there's actually a real Tony P.
Yeah, I'm the real guy, but yeah, it's definitely become a brand. And yeah, it's pretty funny when I'm in the city cruising around. I get people stop me all the time, and a lot of times get people that start talking and I don't know who they are, and they're like, yeah, I've been to your events, blah blah. I'm like, oh hey, thanks. because we do the events, there's like 300 to 500 people, and I do my best to be everybody, but sometimes I don't get to. And then we do a lot on social media too, to get the word out.
And that's a total challenge because like every time you do an event, there's 300-400 people, and that's not an easy task. Like, I mean, on any given day, that's not. So before we get deeper into our whole conversation here, just tell people what because you do so many things. You're a Renaissance man. What should people know about Tony P?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just a goofy suburban kid. Grew up in Arlington Heights, youngest of 5 kids. Went to University of Illinois for college. Been living in the city for the past 25 years. And yeah, I just like to have fun. I like to make people laugh. I like to make people smile. I like to make some money when I can, and just make the world a better place than it was before I got here. And it's simple.
And you're being super modest because I mean, how I met you was at a cannabis convention, workshop, event, networking event.
It was at the Godfrey.
At the Godfrey, which is one of the most beautiful hotels that are out there. Beautiful hotel, beautiful, well-orchestrated event, beautiful people there. Everyone's networking. So you have your hands in helping have some of the highest level of networking and socializing for the cannabis world. But then, too, you do the same thing with real estate. I mean, I've met some really amazing people at your real estate. I'm not even in real estate, but I've met some amazing networking people at your real estate events. And then you also, too, you do marketing and strategy for people. So you have your hands in a lot of different places.
Oh yeah. No, I definitely got several different businesses going on concurrently. And a big reason for that is I learned many years ago to try and set up multiple streams of revenue and income, because most of my career I was in technology software sales, and I worked for some big companies, I worked for some startups, I worked for some medium-sized companies, and the consistent thing in being in the tech world for over 20 years was that you're kind of at the mercy of the economy. If the economy is doing well and people got money, they're going to buy technology like nonstop. But if the economy's not doing well, people don't want to buy expensive software, and then I'd be not able to sell a deal, I'd be out of work,
Right.
And so in a 20-year period of my career, it's like I had very high highs and very low lows. And I just kind of got done with that hamster wheel of craziness, And 5 years ago, me and my friend and business partner, Greg McCalb, started a company called Appointments IQ, which is a lead gen, sales, recruiting, sales staffing, sales augmentation, marketing, business development type company that we started 5 years ago. And then we realized that the more we went out and met people at events, the more partners we found, the more clients we found. So we would go to like 10, 12 networking events a week. I mean, I was always going to network events anyways.
Right.
But a few years ago, we started going like a whole bunch. And what happened was, people would, charge $10, $15, $20 an event, and would go to so many of them that it kept adding up. So what I did was I thought, hey, I'm going to all these events, I'm meeting all these people. Why don't I help promote the events in exchange for, free tickets and free drinks, So I'd go to the promoter or people run these events and say, hey, I'll help get a lot more people, I'll sell more tickets. I don't want any money. All I want is just, a free ticket for me and my business partner, and maybe a couple of drink tickets, and we'll help double and triple your audience. So I was doing that for a while. And then I started a Facebook group and a newsletter. It's called Tony P's Networking Events Calendar, where I would just say, hey, Chicago, there's a bunch of cool stuff going on in the city. And that started blowing up to like thousands of followers. And then people would come to me saying like, hey, this event's great. Thank you, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I didn't do the event. I just promoted it. I just helped get butts in the seats, And then people kept saying, well, why don't you do events? All these people. So me and business partner Greg, we started Tony P's networking events in August of 2017. So yeah, it's been over 3 years. And our first ever event we did was at Rocket. and we had expected about 125, 150 people to show up, and 275 showed up. So that's when we knew we had something, because we had gone to some of the other events and programmed some of the other events that once we started doing our own, we kind of just built in an audience all ready to go, you know?
Right.
And so it's like kind of where things started taking off. And that's where all these other business opportunities started falling in their laps, because at the end of the day, people want to do business with people that they like and they trust. And
Amen.
And people have some degree of influence too, you know?
Say it again. Yes.
Yeah. And I never really ever consider myself an influencer. I consider myself as someone who just likes to go out and have fun and make friends, you know? So organically, just being myself and Greg being himself, we just grew something very big in a short period of time, because we're just good, genuine guys. It's like we don't have these like hidden agendas where I'm trying to hurt anybody. We're just trying to spread love and fun and happiness and introductions, and then that leads to like good conversation, which leads to business opportunities, leads to people making money. You know, it's kind of got like a flow chart, if you will.
And you, man, so many mind explosions as you're talking. I can't even keep up with all of them, but one specifically, people do business with people they like. And so, while you were important to have on the Wolfkeeper show, thank you for your time. But why it was important for me to have you on the show, because right now, you know, we're going through COVID. I mean, I know that you and I had a conversation right at the beginning of COVID. So I was like, let me call Tony and see what he's doing. How is he now? This is in March, like when the world's like everyone's in the house, like there's no movement at all, right? March, April, no movement. You and I talked, and an analogy that you posted most recently was that eagles are attacked by crows. It's the only animal that will attack an eagle, and that the crow sits on top of the eagle while it's flying. And the eagle just keeps going higher, and so the crow basically can't keep up with the altitude, and they fall off. And that I love that analogy, because you were saying basically like, forget about the negativity, whether negativity is racism, whether negativity is COVID, whatever. You lost your job, keep going higher, and you went higher with it. And that's why I loved your events, because I want people to walk away, one, knowing who Tony P is, two, knowing that they can reach out to you or your team. It's a team of you guys that do marketing and promotion strategy. Three, you're not too small, you're not too big. You could be just an individual that could need your help to help them figure out what their next career move is, all the way to a major corporation. You all do it all with that. And then four, just how important it is, because I was telling somebody this yesterday. You can have all the money in the world, you can be all the degrees in the world, but if no one likes you, if no one's into you, it's going to be very hard to do business with that person. Like me, for example, just going over to we're going to bounce around a lot here. Let's talk about cannabis. So in the cannabis, everyone's just hoopla about the lotteries. And I actually know 5 people that get lottery tickets, but for sure, I want to say 2 of those I met at one of your events. Hanging out. It had nothing to do with how much money that I'm not this rich person by any or wealthy person by any means at all. I'm wealthy in communication, but I met them at your events. So people have been reaching out to me because they know I know a lot of people. So it's that resource that I get out of one of your events that now I'm able to, I'm in the game, not directly, because my lottery ticket wasn't pulled. I mean, I'm not part of which is just, in fact, I'm kind of lucky it wasn't, because a lot of people that are the scrutiny that those people are under. But where I'm going with this is that you saw that networking is the key life source and the bloodline of survival. You nonchalantly say, I make some money when I can, but if you can't network and you don't have that relationship with people, you can't make money. So you guys were so brilliant, because you really did. I hope that we get more Tony P, Godfrey hotel and hotel events. But where do you see right now the future of networking? Because right now there's people that still need to do those sales calls. There's people that still got to do that high level, networking. Is this the complete future? If you look into Tony P's crystal ball, how are we going to interact in the future, considering that there's no more as of right now, Gibson dinners and networks at Guthrie?
Oh yeah, well, so there's two ways to answer that, Toriano. So the first thing is that obviously, the pandemic going on, until there's, a vaccine that works or a cure or something of that nature, I mean, we're looking at possibly, 6 to 12 months, maybe longer, until we can have large events again in person, So I'm preparing for the worst case scenario.
Okay.
So how me and my team are working on that, we got a couple things that we got in the mix right now. So one thing is, so we still got the Tony P events, but what we're going to do is we're going to kind of have like a little offshoot of it. We're going to call it Keeping Chicago Connected. Essentially what it's going to be Zoom networking events.
Okay.
And we're probably going to start doing those in October. We're actually working on finishing touches now, but we don't want to release it to the public until it's ready for prime time. But essentially what it's going to be is we'll get, a couple hundred people on Zoom for a couple of hours, and we'll do the first 5 minutes will be just everyone in one big Zoom chat, but everyone will be muted except for me and a couple of co-hosts. And we'll just basically say, hey, the world's crazy right now, but we're trying to work the best way we can, and thanks for joining us, et cetera, et cetera. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have different virtual breakout rooms. So in like 20, 30, 40 virtual breakout rooms where we can have, 5 people in each one of those.
Let me pause you there for a second, because I think I'm relatively smart, right?
Yeah.
But Zoom was not intuitive for me at first. I mean, like there's so many just different components to Zoom, and for someone that was like me 2 months ago, that was I was paying for Zoom and not using it because my brain was just like, I cannot figure out one more app. What are breakout rooms and all these Zoom terminologies? Because some people honestly might not know, because I didn't know what they were 2 months ago.
Okay, yeah. So, first off, I've been using GoToMeeting and Skype and all these different online chat, services, Google Hangouts for the last few years, just because I got connections with people all over the world, so it's a good way to keep in touch. So when it came to using Zoom, I've been using it for quite a couple of years anyways. So for me personally, it wasn't that tough of a transition because I was used to it. But as far as how to explain the terminology is that you can have a Zoom webinar, you can have 200 people logged in. And then you could have it where you could set up like these virtual breakout rooms. So like pretend you're in a building and there's 10, 20 different rooms in there. You take 5 people, put them in each physical room. Imagine doing that on a virtual level on Zoom, where you can assign these 200 people into like 20 or 30 different rooms, and then have like 5 or 6 people in each room, and have like 5 to 10 minutes or whatever, where each person gets to do like a 1-minute elevator pitch, like, hi, I'm Tony, I do this and that, I'm looking for people who do this kind of business, et cetera, et cetera. And then people can put their contact info into the Zoom chat window, and then boom, like 10 minutes later, after everyone's gone around the virtual room and introduce themselves, and you go to another virtual room. So in a sense, you could meet, 20, 30, 40, 50 people online. So it's kind of like speed networking in a way, but doing it through Zoom. So
with that there, just because I love making these informative and educational for people. So say I'm a nurse, or I'm a carpenter, or I'm a teacher, or someone, I could say, hey, I want to have a webinar, correct? Can I charge people to come in for the webinar?
Of course.
Okay, so you can charge people. So I'm a carpenter. I want to teach people how to build a bookcase. So that carpenter could then say 100 people in the webinar, $2 each, right? So you made $200 there. But then with these breakout rooms, then I can say I'll do 200 people. Can I charge extra for a breakout room? Does it work like that?
Theory, I think the first few times we'll do this, we'll probably do this totally for free. Like we won't charge anybody anything, just to kind of test the waters and see how people react. And then we'll do a bit of crowdsourcing afterwards and send surveys out and say, what did you like? What did you not like? How can we do this better? That's what we've been doing for years. Anytime we do anything, we always go back to our audience and ask them, how can we do better? How can we serve you better? How can we help you meet more people? And the thing is that we want to do is do a few of these events, probably for free right out of the gate, and then get critical mass built up, and maybe have sponsorship. So if someone's a sponsor, they can pay to be a sponsor for the event. So there's a few different models we're looking at. But the other thing too is, here we are, it's like middle of September. So, granted, the last few years in Chicago, September has been still pretty nice weather, but in the next few weeks, the weather's going to get colder out, where people aren't going to be wanting to go out as much, and they're going to be more indoors. So it'll be easier to get an audience that way too, because when it's 80s and sunny out, people don't want to be indoors on a Zoom,
Right.
But when it's 40 and rainy and cold out, people are indoors, like they got nothing better to do. Yeah, be on a Zoom, let's network and meet people and build our businesses, So we're really going to hit this hard in the fall and winter months. And then hopefully come Q1, Q2 next year, it'll be a year of a pandemic. Hopefully by then, some really smart people will find a way to make this coronavirus go away or be much more under control. We can start doing the big events again, But at the end of the day, a lot of crazy stuff has gone on the last several months, and me and my team and my vortex, my network, we're just like, hey, you know what? Let's not worry about what's going on. Let's not be negative. Let's not complain or whine. Let's find a way to solve these issues and pivot. I hate the word pivot, but we'll pivot and try new things and experiment and grow out of this, instead of like letting it take us down or make us upset, And I know it kind of sounds like kumbaya and all those flowers and rainbows, but at the end of the day, we control our own feelings. We control how we react to stuff, We can't control what's going on with the coronavirus to some degree, so we can control ourselves and try and look at the bright side, look at the positive side, and try and grow and flourish out of this,
And just, I want people also to take away, because someone's like, why Tony P didn't talk today? I want to just overemphasize, because you super kindly, you've had conversations with me with business strategy, your business, Alton. I've talked to him about business strategy, because with the digital business cards, he showed me that. So if a person, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm putting you on the spot right here, but if someone wants to understand, look at my little dog keep jumping in the frame. I keep thinking about like these Zoom calls, like the people that have someone that walks through the frame. And is he intentionally doing that?
If I was at home right now, my cat would probably be on they can half the screen with me right now.
You still keep going back, and I swear he only does that like he knows, like I need I want some airtime. But
we gotta get him his own show.
He does. So, but if a person wanted to figure out, hey, I'm a carpenter, hey, I'm a lawyer, hey, I want to do what you guys are doing as far as, I'm just using me, for example. I only started using Zoom probably 3 months ago, and I was paying for it. I'm just like, it was just one more app to figure out, because there's so many, when you go on there are so many just different things, like high-level things and functionality you could do. Or just even the concept of a webinar. But if someone wanted to reach out to you and say, hey, I'm an electrician, I want to do like an electrician seminar for electricians across the world. Do you guys do strategies for individuals? I know you do it for bigger companies, but can small, from individual to mid-level person, 20, 30 people company up and more, do you help them out?
Oh, 100%. I can totally help them out. Yeah. So anybody, regardless what industry or what trade someone is in or occupation, I got ways I can help someone out and help them find an audience, whether it's someone they want to partner with or someone they want to find clients. I mean, that's the thing is, one thing I've been joking to people about is how obviously this whole pandemic's, it sucked, and the whole quarantine for a while and, changing our lives. But I tell people, hey, at least it happened in 2020. It didn't happen in like 1979,
Right.
It's like, I know some people listen before then, but the thing is that I remember in the late 70s, early 80s, being around like my family and friends, you know, I was a kid then. But obviously now, it's like if I'm trying to get business done, and it was back in those days, or with that kind of technology now, oh my God, it's like we'd be so behind the 8 ball right now, you know? So
it'd be terrible. I mean, because look at us. We're on like 3. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I had 5 iPhones and 2 computers, and we're broadcasting out to like 5,000 people, like that are sitting back listening to. I mean, we have the technology, and you guys have figured out how to do that. You know, like you're taking your platforms. You've mastered events, and I'm overemphasizing that because I was in the music industry for years and been to a lot of different events. There's definitely a specialness about a Tony P event, and I love that you have a team that totally supports it. Like, it's not called something else. It's not like, you know, Blue Light Production. It's not called, something entertainment. It's straight up, you have a team that is a Tony P. How'd that come about? How did everyone like say, okay, we agree that that is named after you?
Well, first, but that's a funny thing. At first, it was just me and my friend and business partner, Greg McCall, but it was just me and him, 3 years ago that kind of came up with this. And the reason why we called it my name is because I had that newsletter and Facebook group where I was promoting other people's events, and obviously throughout my life, I've had a lot of different nicknames, and something that people have called me for a long time is Tony P, because like I said, I got a crazy last name that no one else has to say. So it's kind of like a happy accident, it's like we didn't really like plan for this. We just planned to do a few events here and there just to like for fun, and it turned into a full-blown business and opened a lot of doors for us. And then the thing is too is that doing the Tony P events for a couple of years, we go to our audiences, go to our attendees, say, hey, what can we do different? What can we do better? And people would say, overwhelmingly, hey, we were probably doing like smaller events for very specific audiences. So that's where we started doing real estate networking events. That's where we did some events for cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. That's where we did some events. And actually, when J.B. Pritzker became governor, the first thing I did was I said, hey, let's start doing cannabis events, And Alton is the one who actually came up with the name Green and Shy, and Alton the one who came up with the logo, So Green and Shy, in a weird way, is almost kind of like a Tony P type event, but specifically for the cannabis industry. But it's about the business behind it, I mean, obviously, a few of us like to partake once in a while, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But as far as the events that we do for Green and Shy, it's purely about the business end of it because, right now cannabis is legal recreationally, I think in like 25 states, medically in 25 states, and recreational in like 12 states. And within a few years, it'll probably be legal on a federal level, So the upside, the growth potential in the cannabis industry is astronomical, and this is a way to get a foothold into it in Chicago. But ironically, because of the whole pandemic, we've been doing these podcasts for Green and Shy, where we interview these thought leaders in the cannabis space, and we've been getting people from all over the country to be guests, and people from all over the world have been tuning in. So sometime in the future, we'd like to do.
Wait, you cut out. You cut out something. Maybe unplug and plug your phone back up. You there? Good old technology.
Let's see.
There you go. You're back.
Am I back?
Yep.
Okay, sorry about that. Someone called me on my phone. I guess I must have knocked off a pod meeting. Sorry about that. So where did I leave off when the caller interrupted me?
No, you were basically saying that where you guys are at right now with Alton created Green and Shy is similar to a Tony P. And just so people know what we're talking about. So you guys have the Tony P events, but then they created an offshoot of that, Green and Shine, which was tailored towards the cannabis industry. So there were high-level networking events where, for people, and give a little bit extra backdrop, from October until March, for anyone that was applying for the cannabis license, it was like a combination of like applying for like your LSAT / master's degree finals week, but for like 5 months straight, and having labor, giving birth to like a baby elephant, like all like in one. It was one of the most intense processes, and people were charging everywhere from the lowest I heard was $50,000 to do an application, and I've heard people that spent up to like 1.2 million to 2 million to do an application. The average cost to get an application done was about $165,000, about 150 to 200,000 when to get an application done. Anything under 50 is pretty much was like bootleg, bootstrap, just really struggling to complete this application. But Tony and his team had the vision to create this networking place where people that were going through that process could go and network and meet other people, lawyers. In fact, I met my lawyer team through there, met just amazing, all kind of people that I met. I mean, I walk away with probably the first event I walked away for sure with about 30 business cards. I met a lot of people that I'm like are just personal friends with now. So where do you see, we're bouncing around because so many, you're so interested to talk to. Where do you see, what's your take on with the cannabis right now? You've been following that, what's happening in Illinois?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's, it's actually very sad how that all played out, because obviously they put measures in place to help kind of level the playing field, and it's just unfortunate that it kind of went the way it did, because they want to make it where everyone had a shot, and it ended up being that, the people with the most money are the ones who got all the licenses, it seemed,
Right.
And also, Illinois is just one of 2 states in the Midwest where it's legal. You got Michigan also. So you got to think that in the next couple of years, we're going to have the surrounding states are going to have legal recreational marijuana use. And then, you got New York and New Jersey, which are looking to try and go legal as well. That I think we're on the cusp of it really blowing up, where a lot of other states are going to have facilities and have dispensaries and have the recreational use. Where I think this is like we're on the that hockey stick growth, like nationwide,
Right.
But for the state of Illinois, it's just unfortunately, I love Chicago, I love our state, but there's been a lot of corruption that's been here, and unfortunately, it just seems that it's still there. It's almost like whoever has the most money wins, it seems.
And I like what you said, and even with that being someone that participated in the process, so I've seen it on both levels. I've seen it when I ran for alderman. I saw it with applying for this application, and I would say, the positive thing about Illinois with our corruption. I mean, most of our governors end up in federal prison. It's just like I like to have a different spin on things. I'm not even joking. Like, there's a chance that, as a black male, you're going to get stopped by the police. Why don't we just have Amber Alert for black men? A little button that you can push and the little team comes out, or like, this call is being recorded. To make sure, because we know what's going to happen. If you're a governor, more than likely you're going to federal prison. You're going to do something corrupt. Let's admit that. Same thing with the whole process. I was telling people, like, the social equity it's flawed. There's no such thing. I mean, it's being said for a lot of different people, like, that's terrible to say, whereas they wouldn't do that. I'm like, it's Illinois, it's what we do, but I think if we can look at like the positives in it, is that Illinois politics and politicians and how we do business is probably one of the most three-dimensional in the world. I mean, I say it's the laws that are on the books that clearly you have to follow. There's the laws that are on the book that you probably didn't know it was actual law. And then there's the laws that are laws but aren't on the books, but is a real law. You know what I mean? And that's how we rock. I mean, we're the land of Capone. I mean, his headquarters was based here for a reason. You know what I mean? For years and many years. You know, so I feel like people get caught up in, I mean, in the cannabis industry is amazing because, you know, as you discovered, because I'm just pumped that you guys had the vision to create these beautiful events at these beautiful hotels to host people like myself to say, hey, come and network and meet other like-minded people. And I tell people it's not about cannabis because you want people to get high. It's about, it's going to be a future commodity. So the beautiful thing about it is like, hey, corn one day will be traded on the stock market. Soybean will one day be traded on the stock market. If you were on the ground floor of corn, or if you were hanging out with this guy named J.P. Morgan and this guy named, you know, Thomas Edison way back in the days, and he said, hey, J.P., can you borrow me some money? I got this idea of this thing called a light bulb. Oh, sure. I think it's going to be a huge hit across the world, right? That's what cannabis is. It's J.P. hanging out with Edison in some place drinking expensive French, you know, Cavassiers, you know, saying that this is going to be a hit. And that's when you had that vision and creating that platform for people to come together. And I love your positivity and I love your posts. People should go follow you on Facebook. Where's the best place to follow you social media wise?
So I got a few different places. So obviously Tony P's networking events. It's on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. That's probably the best place to start. But then Green and Shy, so GreenInchi. So we got Green and Shy on Facebook, Green and Shy on LinkedIn, Green and Shy on Instagram are great places. But then also I'm in the mortgage world, so it's also Tony Paolella House Mortgage. I do credit repair and business loans, so I got financial growth partners. And also, I'm part of a team that started a new email marketing software company called Hubio Mail. So, I got my hands on like 7 different things right now. But I got phenomenal teams and incredible people that I work with, where they're the ones that kind of make stuff go, and I'm the mouthpiece. I'm the one that goes out there and screams from the tallest mountaintops, like, hey, come check this out. This is pretty cool, you know? And so I do the business development. I do bird dog, and I help bring the opportunities together, and then they make it work, you know?
And you're not too big, because you know a lot of people, but you're not too big to take someone's phone call or respond to their email or text message. So I want everyone out there that can be listening, if you feel like you're stuck, you know, like yesterday, this would be a great person I'm going to send over to you. Black male, college grad, from St. Mary's up in Minnesota, master's degree, real estate agent, degree in ballet, speech comm.
Wow.
And he was driving an Uber, and he's like, man, the whole conversation, he was just like, man, I'm so frustrated right now. I don't know what to do. I have these 3 degrees and a master's. I don't know what to do. He was anti-Tony P post. He was like, he was letting the eagle flies higher with the crow on his back until the crow falls off. He was definitely not the eagle going up. He was the eagle going down with the crow on his back, picking away, making them. But the point where I'm going with that story and giving you all these accolades, you would talk to someone like that. You would give them.
I'd love to. Yeah, please introduce us, because, you know, the big thing, Toriano, is that the world has changed a lot in the last 10, 15, 20 years, where, you know, back in the day, it's like someone worked for one company for 30, 40 years, they retired, they got their gold watch, and that was it, you know, and that doesn't happen anymore. Now people move, they change jobs a lot, but also people do multiple things at once. They have different freelance things they do. They have side hustles. It's the gig economy, they call it now, where, you know, it's it's funny because I don't know that many people anymore that have just one job. You know, it's like most people I know, most people I hang out with have like 3, 4, 5, 6 different things going on.
Absolutely.
And also they have where they cross pollinate with each other, you know?
Absolutely.
So, and that's where
that's where you're I just want to jump in real fast because because my core business, and thank you, see Lori, Master Dog Trainer Lori Berg, who said good morning to you, Gina G, Dada, Thomas, Kelly, Hardy, Sasha, all you people that are listening. But I'm a master dog trainer, right? But security kept coming up. We have access to guard dogs, right? Some of the best guard dogs in the world. In fact, my mentor, if she's still on there, Lori Berg. So one of the biggest issues with cannabis have been security because 5 of them have been breached this year. I mean, right out the gate, $100,000 was stolen out of one. Right during George Floyd riots, I mean, 2 of them were just completely breached, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, but the Tony P event had me as a dog trainer going to a cannabis event talking about security, right? I'm also into marketing. My background is marketing. So you're absolutely right. I just want to jump in and say that because, like, you're absolutely right. Nowadays, you can't think just like for me. I have my dog training company, my marketing company, my cannabis company. You have to be doing my entertainment company where we're making music content and video content. The days of just doing one, would you agree? The days of just doing, like you said, 30 years in, go watch, retire with your 401k, that's gone.
Yeah, that's few and far between now. I mean, yeah, the whole. I mean, think about it too. Is that terms like gig economy and side hustle? I mean, those terms didn't exist.
For someone that might not know, what's gig economy?
So gig economy basically means that you do a lot of different things. That you're not tied to like one company or one job. So you can you could be someone who could be a DJ, but then you can also be a hairstylist or a dog trainer. You can do multiple things. At different gigs, and you can have something you do Monday through Friday, and then you have something else you do on the weekends. That there's always really is these things. These smartphones we got changed everything. So when Uber, I'm thinking about a company like Uber, they changed the game on transportation, and then Airbnb changed the game on staying in hotels, and then there's a company called Get Around, which is kind of like it's like the Airbnb for car rentals. It's like if you have a car and no one uses it, you can just let someone rent it for $5 an hour. Or if you
like the Toro. I think there's another one out there called Toro.
Yeah, another one's called Toro. Yeah, it's a competitor. So or you can get on your phone, you can find rentable cars in your neighborhood. You use your app on your phone, you open the car, you drive, you rent it for a couple hours. It's like $20. So it's just with the whole thing about smartphones and like faster internet and everything, it's changed everything. And then you get a company like Netflix, where it used to be you had DVDs mailed to your home, and then Blockbuster Video, which had stores everywhere, could have bought Netflix for like super cheap, and people at Blockbuster laughed Netflix out of the room. And then Netflix switched to like online streaming video.
That's right.
Blockbuster got into it too late, And what do you got now? Blockbuster stores are like gone forever.
Remember that? Remember that was crazy. You just made me think about that when you'd buy DVDs and you were excited when the brand new Raiders of the Lost Ark came in the mail, and now that's a thing of the past completely. Oh, yeah. I think we have a little tech difficulty. Good old technology. I think everyone's on the internet early today in the morning. I lost Tony. Tony, you there? Oh, yeah, I lost all his internet. I think I crashed Tony's internet. But today's lesson, boys and girls, Be all you can be. You have to have multiple incomes, multiple businesses. It's not having an identity crisis if you're doing more than one thing. It's really just a way of the future. People are no longer just doing one thing anymore. I'm living proof of it, and you don't have to be confined. You can redesign the world how you want to design the world. And that's the beautiful thing where we're at right now. I want to thank everyone that's watching Fierce Modern Design. My girl Sasha Garcia is in the house, who's super duper amazing. We'll give you a what up, Sasha. Kelly Hardy, my business partner from day one, and she's still watching this, giving you a big shout out. Sasha Michelle's in that house. What's up? What's up? Dr. Paula, thank you for watching. Oh, I think I brought Tony back. Tony, you there?
Okay. You good now?
You're back.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
I think you were giving up too many secrets of success and happiness, and the someone out there tried to stop. Someone tried to stop us. Now you're back.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. My internet just at the office just died. Now it came back.
Hey,
So
can we put all that hot information through it? It couldn't. But what I was saying though, when we got disconnected, was that this is a great way to start a Monday, because I know you have a lot of different resources. Honest to God, when the world shut down, March 17th, that was the day specifically they shut Chicago down, right? I know for a fact. Like that's. I called you up probably at least 2-3 weeks later. Hey, what are you doing? 'Cause I wanted to hear what you were doing. And as we were talking before this, we probably been doing better in COVID, in all this, with all these crows on our backs as we're eagles flying high, and we're watching them slowly fall off as we continue to elevate. What would you and before we close out the show, what's just some big words of motivation to get people? Because a lot of people, like this guy, 27 yesterday, totally. I mean, he was not having a good time in COVID at all. He was really, and he couldn't understand how he has all these degrees, all this information, but not making money. Like, what's your advice? 'Cause I know that's what you all do, and that's what you do, how you get through, and you help a lot of people.
You know, the biggest thing, this is going to sound so rudimentary, but it's all about solving problems. No matter what we do with our lives, whether on a personal or professional level, if you solve a problem or fill a need or fill a void, you can make money, you know? And I'm going to steal a famous quote. I'm probably going to butcher the exact words, but, you know, Warren Buffett, who's one of the richest people in the world, like just turned 90, you know, recently. And by the way, I learned something from the fact that Warren Buffett made most of his wealth, like, after the age of 65.
Wow.
Like, he just turned 90 because he's been all bit in investing and he's been kind of like, you know, get rich slow. But Warren Buffett said something a while back that, you know, never let a good crisis go to waste. You know, meaning that, you know, we live in a world where, you know, stuff's going to hit the fan, things are going to happen that's beyond your control. But instead of like getting all upset and be like, oh my God, I'm a victim, oh my God, everything's, you know, everyone's against me, or I'm broke, I can't do anything, instead of like playing that game, or okay, how can I turn this into a positive? How can I make some lemonade out of these lemons here, you know? And so case in point, what me and my team did was, first off, the networking events, we put them on a shelf for a while. Okay, we can't do in-person, let's not focus on that. And then some of our friends and business partners down the hall from us at our co-working space, you know, we were at Woodbox in the north. We've been working on putting together some email marketing software solutions that we can use instead of like paying for. We're going to build our own. So we like doubled and tripled our efforts on that. And we got to the point where we were building it just for ourselves, but we built it so good that it's actually a viable product that we launched the company, and now we're taking on customers, you know? So someone using like MailChimp or Constant Contact or Active Campaign or sort of email marketing automation service or newsletter service, we built a better mousetrap, and we're more aggressively priced, and we got like 14, 15 different modules we could attach to it and do all these cool things. So what we did was we just took all the different projects we had out there. We just doubled down and tripled our efforts on things that we could build, thinking that, okay, we're not going to do events for all, let's focus on other things. Also, I'm in the mortgage world and I do credit repairs. So interest rates are at all-time lows. So I focus a lot of energy on trying to help people refinance their mortgages, you know? And also, some people lost their jobs and missed a few paychecks, so they couldn't pay their bills, so their credit scores suffered. So I doubled and tripled on my efforts on doing credit repair for people, you know? And so basically what I did was I looked, okay, I got all these different things I do. What is really, really needed right now? What helps solve a problem? What helps make people happy? And people having better credit scores and people be able to buy a home, it makes them happy, you know, to take advantage of low interest rates. People want to be able to do email marketing campaigns to reach thousands of people to help promote their businesses and services. People want to do that, you know. So that's what we did. We just focused on what are the major problems out there and what do we have in our bag of tricks that can solve these problems and how can we monetize that. So that's really what we did. And I think that's what most people need to do is think, what are you good at, or who are very smart people that you're aligned with that have different skill sets that you can kind of fill the gaps for each other, and you can join forces and
Absolutely.
have a product or a solution or a service or something that solves a problem.
And
It's that simple.
I want to echo what you said. You know, I asked you, how does that guy get out of this 20, and I'm about to call him a kid, but 27, wow, like what a great problem to have, because he has so much, like you said, Warren Buffett started, I heard it before, started in his mid-60s. So age doesn't matter. Find a problem, get a solution, create a solution. But also, too, I want to add to it, and I want to keep overemphasizing this, is that you have to not be afraid to ask people. I'm a great resource. You have two great resources right here. You have to be able to call people up. And you can't be afraid also to pay for it also, because people get freaked out with the term consultant or life coach, but depending upon who that person is and what they're bringing to the table, you can easily pay as low as, you know, $50 up to $5,000 for 1 hour of information. Depends on where you're at in your life and what kind of information and access you need. Because there's some people that I like, one of my buddies, Corey, I mean, they're killing it. They're smashing it. Like every time how is your social media going up? I watched his Instagram go from 20,000 to 80,000 in the middle of COVID, because they're crushing it, you know. But to talk to him on the phone, it costs $5,000 for 4 hours, you know. But they don't make any moves under $100,000. You mean, so it just depends on where you want to be, what you want to do. But I want to say, don't be afraid to ask, and don't be afraid to ask someone like my buddy Tony P. Tony, where's the best, before we end, where's the best place for someone and Rejoice, who thank you to Rejoice in the Wolfkeeper team, where should someone find you guys? What's the best way?
So I'd say for anybody, so I'm gonna follow a few different pieces of it. And the other thing, I do tutorials if you want. We can follow up later, and I can send you a note with all the different social media links.
Okay.
But I'd say I'll kind of break it down. If anyone wants to talk about networking, whether it's in-person networking or virtual networking, all you have to do is go to Tony P's networking events on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and then if someone, you know, follows or likes, you know, the pages and the groups, then they can just write a note, and I'll be the one who answers, you know. And then also, if anybody's interested in talking more about anything that's cannabis related, that'd be Green and Shy. So GreenInChi. So if someone goes to Green and Shy on Instagram, go to Green and Shy on Facebook, LinkedIn, you can find us that way. Another thing I didn't get a chance to talk about either was we actually started doing like wine tasting events also. We just call it Wine and Shy, you know. So if someone goes onto
Tony P,
Facebook,
you don't stop, man.
Yeah. Someone goes to Facebook and types in WINE and INCHI, go with that. If someone is in the real estate and financial world, and wants to talk about like mortgages or real estate, then just go to Tony Paolella House Mortgage. It's HOUSE Mortgage, MORTGAG. That's on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. And my last name is spelled PAOLELLA. I also do credit repair too, so that's a company called Financial Growth Partners. So if someone goes to Facebook and Instagram, looks up Tony Paolella Financial Growth Partners or Tony P Financial Growth Partners, go there. And then I mentioned our company Hubio Mail that we launched recently. So it's HUBIOMAIL. So if anyone wants to do like marketing campaigns and wants to get more leads and build their businesses, we can help there. But yeah, at the end of the day, though, I think this one starts with Tony P's network events. Just wants to set up a kind of
you're a beast, boy.
Yeah, and I'm tempted. And I'm kind of tempted to give my cell phone over. I'm kind of nervous too because
give it out, man.
Like my cell phone already is blown up like nonstop on a daily basis. But
let's get a Wolfkeeper exclusive to Tony P cell phone.
So I got my cell phone, but I'd say the best thing to do for anybody listening, the best thing to do would be like to text me first, because I'm not the best at voicemails because I get a lot of voicemails every day. So my cell phone number is really easy. It's 312-972-7272. And for me, it's easy to remember because I was born in 1972. So
972-7272.
So if you text 312-972-7272 and you say, hey, I heard you on, Torino's Wolfkeeper show, and I want to talk about this topic or that topic. That's probably the best way to get a conversation started. Then we can I also use Calendly, but I got to update that. So I need to go to calendly.com/Tony P's calendar. I got to update it though. It's got a little work I got to do on that. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff going on. But
it's 12 o'clock.
It's all about aligning yourself with smart, fun, interesting people, and just find ways to help each other out, and just making sure that when you're working with people, find out how you can help the other person first. Find what their challenges are, what their problems are, what they need help with. Because what I've learned many years ago is that when you put energy to help others first, then good stuff just kind of happens. It's like the universe has a way of correcting itself, and good karma steps in, and all of a sudden, great things will start coming your way. And it's not necessarily linear. I mean, do favors for a few people. It's not like this quid pro quo, like all of a sudden, like, okay, I help you this, you gotta help me back. It's more like you just help as many people as you can. Someone from a totally different, atmosphere might come out of nowhere and look you up and help you with something else, because that's just, good karma step ahead and making sure the universe is all, aligned, that you be a good person helping others, that good things will happen to you too, it sounds cheesy and kumbaya, but it works,
It's not though, man, because it's not though, man, because that's what you do, because you helped me, and I'm a testimonial of that, man. So I want to thank you, Tony P. All right, and you've given us so much information, man. Thank you all. Reshare this broadcast. It's on my Facebook. It's on Tony P. Today's amazing guest, and he's giving up. I mean, every day you get something free. So if you're listening to this, and I know at least 100 people have watched this, I'm asking if you need help, or if you know someone that needs help, reach out to my guy, because he has so many resources. You have no excuses or why not to be doing it. So thank you, sir.
Well, thank you, Fernando. It's always a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you again in person very soon. And if once we start doing the big events again in person, you'll be the first person I will make that event.
Hey, I'm putting you on the spot. Next live Tony P beautiful event, I need to be up on that stage.
Done and done, man.
Boom.
I got you.
Every day you get something, baby. All right, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you. Have a good one. Thanks everybody for listening. Take care.
Take care. Peace.